Hi guys, so it's after midnight and I'm all buggy-eyed from reading articles and then switching between that and just staring at Facebook. I'm just exhausted and need to stop staring at screens so much, but luckily we also get out and do stuff and we walk, and it's always, my attempt is always to have a balance in each day. So I have been doing yoga, which is good. I'm on day 5 of a yoga thing, like a 31-day yoga revolution, it's called, with Adrienne on YouTube. I like her a lot. So anyway, I always feel better when I do yoga. I just always do. There's never a time when I'm back in my yoga practice and it feels bad. Yes, it's I go in and out of times where I'm really good about doing it. Anyway, the point being, I wanted to show you guys what we're doing here. So it's after midnight. We're about to go to sleep. Clancy's mom, Kristen, is out of town, so I'm watching Clancy, but I have to be careful about bringing Clancy into Fred's and my space, because this is Fred's and my space, and Fred, this is still an area that's very sensitive for him as far as the reactivity goes. So, if even with Moku, if we're in the room, like in the afternoon after they've played and swam and run around for a solid hour, bring them in here, and I'll put either Fred or Moku in the kennel and have the other one laying out on the bed, just because it was in the bedroom that Fred went after Clancy and actually got him. And I don't know if I've talked about that, and I won't go into any more detail, but he did. He went after Clancy and he bit him, and it sucked. It was terrible. This was several months ago. Thankfully, it was nothing serious, but it was terrible. It was awful. But we've come so far since then, so we're just focusing on, where we are and how far we've come. So anyway, working with Clancy directly in the room is not something we've really worked on a lot, because, I don't know, Kristen and I get into our routines and we do our things, and she's with Clancy and I'm with Fred, and we just haven't really, worked so much on it, or we've had the opportunity, but I don't know, we've just been, still, keeping the dogs somewhat separate, but, always challenging Fred more and more as he's able to take on more and more challenge. So anyway, that's what this is. So it's bedtime. I keep that little gate up over there. Where is it? By the door. So Clancy's in Kristen's room right now. So during the day, like when I'm sitting in here, if it's just me and Fred, oftentimes, especially when Kristen's home, Clancy's never back. He's with Kristen, so he's doing his thing, whatever. But at night, I like to bring, I've been bringing him in here to sleep in my room. He usually sleeps in Kristen's room, or kind of out in the hallway sometimes, because he likes the cool tile. So anyway, Fred's in his kennel, and the fact that I'm droning on is actually helping in the process, because usually our ritual is when Fred goes to bed, I say, okay, bedtime cookies. See, he heard that. He's awake now. And I give him his treat sort of right after he hops into his kennel, or I throw it in there and he goes in, or whatever. He gets his cookie when he goes in his kennel. So tonight I didn't give it to him right away. I put him in the kennel. And of course, for a while he was just sitting there going, well, where's my treat? Because he's very used to it. That's our routine. But the idea is for me to ignore him so that he can just kind of relax, and which he's having an easier and easier time of doing as time goes on, for sure. But we've worked a lot on it. We've worked consciously on relaxation things. And anyway, but at first though, I was saying, okay, lay down, relax. And as long as I'm talking to him, it's not adding to the relaxation. It's me trying to interact with him, when in fact I just want him to, relax, right? So I was ignoring him and building Clancy's little nest over here, which I have such a mess in here. But I'll put Clancy's bed back there, and he'll sleep there, and I'll actually put the gate up against that chair there, just so that Fred feels, I don't want to. I always want him to feel comfortable, but just barely kind of, up against his what's the word I'm looking for? His boundaries of what he's able to handle. I don't want to throw him into the fire and expect too much from him. So, I have to be want to go slow and things like this. Anyway, as long as I have the barrier up over there and Fred's in his kennel, he's fine. Like, we've done this the last few nights. It's been absolutely fine. It does matter, though, how I bring, or how Clancy comes into the room. That's a big deal. So when I walk in with Clancy and it's very structured and Fred sees what I'm doing, and I, bring Clancy in on the leash and he just goes into his little nest and I put the gate up. When Fred sees all that, he's okay. He gets a little anxious at first, but then he'll grab his toy or his ball. So you'll see I put his ball in there with him. That has been the most awesome tool, is that get your ball thing. And I don't know how much I've talked about that on video, but it's been remarkable how well it's worked. So, in other words, if he gets a little anxious, now he's to the point where he will grab his ball himself. So he'll even look around for it, like, oh God, I need to grab onto something, versus growling. He's learned to do something different in that situation. So that's been a huge triumph. But anyway, so the other night when I was coming in, Clancy just sort of, jetted in front of me, even though the gate was slightly up, I think, by the door. And that's what made Fred uneasy. So it's, as long as Fred knows that I'm, designating everyone's space and that there's structure and there's nothing just, sort of out of left field, he's okay. Even in the room, even in his own room. So anyway, I would record it, but it's already too long and it's really hard to walk with the dog and record at the same time. But I'll keep you posted, but essentially I have no doubt that they're both absolutely going to be fine. They'll both fall asleep and it'll be like it has been the past few nights, which has been good. And that way Fred is also learning to associate the feeling of relaxation with Clancy. Because Clancy just comes in, just curls up and sleeps. And so this is a great way, even though they're separated and they're sleeping, so of course they're both going to stay in their own space. It's a good way for Fred to, start associating Clancy with calmness and relaxation. So he's just about passed out. It's cute, precious, sleepy little face. And he should be, because it's like almost 12:30. So I'm going to bring Clancy in and then I'm going to go to bed. So there was your late night ramble.